Welcome, welcome, welcome. And to all who are watching, enter if you dare. Suffolk County Homicide, Case File 77-23, interviewing subject on the matter of Gilgo Beach decedents, recording initiated. Subject has been identified. Occupation, architect, place of business, Manhattan. Residence, Massapequa Park, Long Island. He has a wife, 2 children, a dog named after one of his victims. There is a stretch of road on Long Island, New York, where the ocean meets a narrow barrier island and the dunes swallow secrets like they were made for it. Ocean Parkway, Gilgo Beach. In December of 2010, a K-9 unit searching for a missing woman named Shannon Gilbert stumbled across something no one was looking for. Human remains, wrapped in burlap, hidden in the scrub, then more remains, and more. Over the following weeks, law enforcement would find the bodies of 4 young women, Melissa Bartholomew, Maureen Brainard Barnes, Amber Lynn Costello, and Megan Waterman, scattered within a half-mile of each other. They would become known as the Gilgo 4, but the killer was not done. By the time investigators had mapped the full extent of the horror, 8 women were dead. 8 lives ended, wrapped in burlap, and deposited in the dark like they were nothing. For 12 years, no one knew who did it. Every morning, Rex Heuermann took the Long Island Railroad from his suburban home in Massapequa Park into Midtown Manhattan. He wore a suit. He carried a briefcase. He ran his own architectural consulting firm. He was good at his job. His firm had contributed to high-rises, luxury towers, landmark renovations. He was a face in the crowd, a professional, a family man. His wife worked at a hair salon. They had 2 adult children. Neighbors described him as quiet, unremarkable, the kind of man you would not look twice at. But behind that unremarkable face, investigators would later discover, lived something else entirely. Burner phones registered to fake names, encrypted browser activity, obsessive research into his own crimes. Thousands of hours spent watching news coverage about the Gilgo Beach murders, coverage about himself. And in his home, items belonging to his victims. Rex Heuermann was not just watching the investigation. He had been living with his trophies for 30 years. The crimes spanned nearly 2 decades. Heuermann's earliest admitted killing dates to 1993, his last 2010. In between, 8 women, 8 funerals, 8 families left with questions that no one could answer. The victims were all women who had advertised services on Craigslist. Heuermann would contact them on burner phones, lure them to a location with the promise of payment, and then strangle them. He admitted this himself in court, with no visible emotion. Strangulation, he said, when asked how each woman died. Melissa Bartholomew was 24 years old. Megan Waterman was 22. Amber Lynn Costello was 27. Maureen Brainard Barnes was 25. Valerie Mack was 24. Jessica Taylor was 20. Sandra Costilla was 28. Karen Vergata, whose identity investigators had not even confirmed until the guilty plea, was found in pieces in 1996. 8 women. And for 12 years after the bodies were found on Gilgo Beach, the killer rode the train into Manhattan, collected his paycheck, came home. He even called the families of his victims on the burner phones. He taunted them, described what he had done, left them to live with the sound of his voice and no idea who he was. This was not impulsive. This was deliberate, methodical, monstrous. Then, of all things, a pizza. In the years after the Gilgo Beach task force was reinvigorated in 2022, investigators obtained a DNA profile of an unknown male linked to the crime scenes. They needed a match. Surveillance traced Heuermann to a midtown pizza restaurant. Investigators waited, watched, and when he tossed his used napkin and leftover crust, they collected it. The DNA matched. On July 13, 2023, Rex Heuermann was arrested outside his Manhattan office. He was charged with the murders of 3 of the Gilgo 4. His wife, who had been out of town during the killings, filed for divorce that same day. "This defendant walked among us," the district attorney said, play-acting as a normal suburban dad while, in reality, obsessively targeting innocent women for death. Heuermann denied everything. He wept. He pled not guilty. He raged until April 8, 2026, when he did not. In a Suffolk County courtroom, Rex Heuermann stood before a judge and pleaded guilty to the murders of 7 women. He admitted, without being pushed, that he had also killed Karen Vergata, a victim prosecutors had not formally charged him with. Strangulation, he said again. On June 17, 2026, the same week this video was made, Rex Heuermann was sentenced. Life in prison, no possibility of parole. He will never leave. But for the families of 8 women, the verdict answers one question while leaving 100 others standing. Why them? Why there? Why 30 years? And, perhaps most quietly, most terrifyingly, why did no one notice? Because Rex Heuermann understood something about us. He understood that we trust the man in the suit. We trust the neighbor with the well-kept lawn. We trust the father at the school recital. We trust the ordinary man. And sometimes, the ordinary man is exactly what we should fear most. 8 women, 30 years, 1 pizza box. The Gilgo Beach case will be studied for generations, not because it is unique, but because it is not. Serial killers do not look like monsters. They look like colleagues, like neighbors, like the man who holds the elevator for you and asks about your weekend. The case of Rex Heuermann is a reminder, archived in evidence and in horror, that the most frightening thing on earth is not the unknown creature in the dark. It is the known man standing in the light. I am the archivist. I keep these records so that the forgotten are not forgotten. If this case moved you, if you believe these stories must be told, then subscribe to Blood-Curdling Chronicles. Leave a comment with the name of a victim you think deserves to be remembered. New cases arrive every Monday and Thursday. The archive is never closed.
If you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to be notified of all of our future videos.